Hello, my sweeties. Hope you're all doing amazing today. This is BL Fan Edits and I'm continuing my BL Tropes series today. If you have been watching BL and reading yaoi content for some time, you must have come across this word called tsundere. A tsundere character is someone who is tough on the outside but soft on the inside. These characters are usually cold to their love interest at first, then after some time they melt and show their warm side. Most commonly, these actors are somewhat introvert and shy and hide their true emotion in front of their love interest, but it's not always the case. It is possible that they genuinely dislike the love interest at first but eventually fall in love. So today I'm listing down 15 tsundere characters from recently released BLs. So let's begin with our first tsundere main lead. Have you ever loved someone so much that your love for them also becomes your defense mechanism? Jiwoo's character shook my soul to its core, because I see myself so much in his character. Jiwoo is an introverted person who carries the weight of this world on his shoulders. His parents passed away in an accident when he was just a high school student. Since then, Jiwoo had to raise himself and survive by himself in this harsh world. Jiwoo's trauma has made him into a person who has a hard exterior that is difficult to penetrate. Jiwoo has a pessimistic approach towards life and he doesn't feel himself worthy of affection or love. One day he met a movie star Kang Sojun who came into his life and immediately brightened it. Sojun understands him. Sojun knows how to peel back his layers and get to the real Jiwoo. Even when Jiwoo is not able to communicate his feelings, Sojun still manages to know exactly how he feels. This made Jiwoo fall for Sojun harder than expected. Jiwoo loved Sojun so much that he became codependent on him, until one day he realized that being with Sojun is making him lose himself. Guys, I have so much more to talk about To My Star 2, so please keep an eye out for my To My Star 2 review and recap video. Vegas is one of the biggest tsunderes we have come across in the BL and yaoi world. Vegas's character is very deep, dark, and complicated. He has developed many psychopathic tendencies growing up, some of which are inherent and some others are acquired due to childhood trauma. Vegas on the outside is a narcissist, shrewd individual who lacks a feeling of guilt or remorse. He is determined to beat his rival Kinn and become the leader of the mafia. Vegas is extremely manipulative and exudes a superficial charm that makes people easily fall in his trap. One day he catches Kinn's bodyguard Pete sneaking around in his secret lair. Little did Vegas know that this moment will be the turning point in his life. Vegas tortured Pete like he tortured his other terrified victims. But there is something about Pete that puzzles him. Pete is not afraid of Vegas. Pete looks at Vegas with challenging eyes, almost as if he's laughing at him. Vegas sees a spark in Pete that he has never seen in anyone. Pete sees the real Vegas. Pete understands his internal struggles and knows how his cruel father treats him. Vegas finds comfort in Pete. He doesn't feel like he's a freak anymore. The more time they spend together, the more Pete becomes his oxygen, which he needs to breathe freely. Kinn is the head of the mafia family who carries a lot of responsibilities on his shoulders. He is the only son of Khan, the head mafia, who is capable of inheriting the position of the mafia leader after him. Kinn wanted to be a musician, but he was burdened at an early age with business responsibilities that more often than not included bloodshed and destruction. Kinn has hardened due to his gruesome reality. Not only does he carry a lot of emotional baggage with him, he has also been betrayed by the person he once loved, and so now he has vowed to never fall in love and lives a playboy lifestyle. Kinn was tasked by his father to hire Porsche as his bodyguard. Initially, Porsche makes a lot of mistakes and got on Kinn's nerves, but Kinn couldn't help but find him adorable. Kinn has been controlling his men since a long time, but he couldn't control or predict Porsche at all, which baffled him. Kinn could see an honesty and innocence in Porsche's eyes that he could not see in himself. The more he saw vulnerable and pure Porsche, the more he wanted to protect the innocence in him, and the more Porsche protected him and cared for him, the more Kinn fell in love. Kim is the youngest son of the mafia family. Kim has always hated getting involved in his father's business and focused on his music career. Kim is now a well-known singer who is idolized by many. Living in the mafia family, Kim has seen his fair share of betrayals, violence, and barbarity. Kim lives a solitary lifestyle, focusing only on his music. Kim meets an innocent guy called Porsche one day. Kim has been following him for a while to find out his parents' relationship to the mafia family. Kim initially only wanted to make use of Che to find out more about his brother Porsche. Kim never anticipated that he would fall in love with this virgin boy. Kim is pretty indifferent and cold to everyone around him, but he could not maintain his indifference with Che. Che melts his heart. Che's soulful voice, his innocent face, his honest eyes, they all melt Kim and he can't resist Che's puppy charm. As it stands in the series right now, we know that Kim loves Che a lot. Otherwise, he wouldn't have protected him and saved his life so many times. We just need to wait to find out how and when Kim will confess his love to Che. The cutest tsundere out there in the BL world is our beloved Chu Sang-woo. Chu Sang-woo is a perfectionist who is meticulous about everything in his life. Sang-woo believes in being methodical about everything and has no room for error in his life. Sang-woo has a strong sense of righteousness and sees everything in black and white. Predictability and planning is what Sang-woo lives by. For Sang-woo, love is a fallacy and it's waste to indulge in it. One day Sang-woo meets his senior Jang Jae-young. Jae-young is the hottest guy in the university. Girls want to be with him and guys want to be him. Jae-young is cheeky, thoughtful, flirty and funny. It is really hard for people to resist him. The first time Sang-woo and Jae-young meet, there are instant sparks between them. Sang-woo is initially hostile towards Jae-young, but the more anger he shows, the more Jae-young finds him adorable. Sang-woo is secretly enamored by Jae-young. His boyish charms have worked their magic on him and he can't resist Jae-young at all. Sang-woo is determined to keep his attraction hidden from Jae-young, but one day, over some liquor, Sang-woo's bullheadedness collapsed and he submitted to his desires. Kluen is a handsome heartthrob who has girls pining over him. Kluen has a cool and silent demeanor which attracts people around him. His silent and brooding demeanor makes him appear mentally strong, confident and physically attractive. Daon is his high school classmate who has had a crush on Kluen since a long time. On the last day of the school year, Daon confessed to Kluen only to get rejected by him. Just when heartbroken Daon was leaving the school, Kluen ran after his car to confess back to him because after rejecting Daon, he realized that he did have feelings for him. Kluen is bad at communicating his feelings. He is not able to articulate his real emotions and that is why Daon got away from him in school. 1 year later when they meet in uni, Kluen's feelings resurfaced, but he still acted cool in front of Daon instead of confessing his feelings to him. The push and pull game continued until jealousy got the best of Kluen and he ended up confessing to Daon. Kilen Wang is a successful businessman who owns and runs several businesses. He has been engaged to the son of another business conglomerate and his name is Kia Karate. Kia has been in love with Lian since childhood and has molded himself to be the person that Kilen will like. Kilen, however, doesn't like this perfect image that Kia tries to portray in front of him. So Lian treats Kia harshly and often belittles him for being too prim and proper, even comparing him to the scary Annabelle doll. Although Lian is harsh on Kia, he secretly has him followed and keeps an eye on his double life. He knows what kind of person Kia really is, but is disappointed that Kia doesn't find him worthy enough to share his real self with him. Lian provokes Kia on purpose so that he drops the perfect act and shows his real self to him. Lian gradually decides to show Kia his authentic side and not a cold, shrewd businessman side, which gave courage to Kia to show his real self as well. Nawee is an angry, frustrated and lonely son of a wealthy businessman. Due to his past trauma, Nawee has also developed a fear of stepping foot outside the house. When Nawee wanted a suit tailored for his father's birthday party, he came in contact with a handsome and skilled tailor, Aun. Aon is understanding towards Nawee and wants to help him. But Nawee has so much trauma from his past and also from his family that he doesn't trust anybody and feels like no one has good intentions towards him. So Nawee is unkind towards Aon at first, but he also can't help but feel excited around him. Aon showers Nawee with care and compassion, which melt Nawee's heart, and he even gets courage to step outside the house and go to see Aon. Sean and Black are like oil and water. They don't mix together. Despite being in the same gang, Sean has always been bothered by Black's self-centered and unpredictable attitude. Sean is hopeless due to the current political situation, and he is determined to avenge the death of his father by any means he can. His sole purpose in life is to shake the current system of plutocracy, or when a country is controlled by people with great wealth. One day when Black came to the garage, he felt different. Black's eyes seemed kinder and gentler. This makes Sean suspicious and alarmed by this sudden change in Black. Sean is challenging and hostile towards this new Black, but the more he sees the change in Black, the more he gets under his skin. As time passed, this virtuous Black started to grow on Sean, and he fell deep in love with him. Sean fell for White so hard that even when the real Black appeared and beat him black and blue, Sean didn't even lift one finger at him and just watched the man in front of him with heartbreak and disbelief. Ultimately, White's real identity was revealed, and that's when Sean fell in love with him even more. Nut is a depressed and lonely soul who has never had anything good going in his life apart from his first love, who is no longer with him. Due to the extreme physical and mental abuse in his childhood, as well as having to take care of his mentally ill mother, Nut has become hopeless. He is so damaged and mentally drained that he has no left love to give to anyone. Nut has made his job his sole focus and continues to pour his energy into providing for his mother and working. One day, a miracle happens in his life. His teddy bear, whom he has loved since childhood, has turned into a human and appears in front of him. Initially, Nut found Tofu troublesome and irritating. He even fought his mother and didn't want to keep him in the house. But considering his mother's mental illness and her love for Tofu, Nut decides to let him live in the house. Little by little, Tofu began to heal Nut's deep emotional wounds. Nut began to rely on Tofu, and for the first time in a long time, he felt loved and understood. Although he treated Tofu quite harshly during his entire healing journey, it only goes to show that not every protagonist is perfect. Human beings are flawed and emotional, and psychological trauma can alter a person's whole belief system. I'm glad that Nut got an angel like Tofu in his life to watch over him. Do you know the character of Anthony from Sex and the City series? If you know Anthony, then you will find many similarities in Maze and Anthony's character. Maze is an owner of a media agency. He's a feisty personality, and he's very goal-oriented and committed to his business. Maze doesn't hesitate to reprimand people who don't meet his standards. One day he meets a laid-back but talented artist Fab, who was tasked to do a live painting at a wedding organized by Maze's company. Fab manages to mess up the entire wedding and ends up working at Maze's company to pay off his debt. Initially, Maze was standoffish and rude towards Fab because he expects excellence from everyone. Fab, however, is a relaxed person who believes in going with the flow. Although Fab is completely opposite to Maze, his presence and contribution in the company started to boost the company's profitability and get more clients. Maze began to respect Fab's method of working, and Fab also began to understand Maze's work ethic. Maze and Fab soon began to develop a relationship which is more than an employer and employee. From an outside POV, Kiyoi will look like a person who has everything going on in his life for him. Deathly good looks, charismatic, popular, brooding type, bratty, but the real Kiyoi is opposite to all of that. He's struggling to make his place in the world. He's running towards a dream which seems impossible to achieve. He's lonely and sad. Although he's surrounded by people all the time, no one seems to care about him at all. Everyone wants to use Kiyoi for clout, but there is one guy who Kiyoi can't seem to figure out. Hira looks at Kiyoi differently. His piercing gaze seems to look into Kiyoi's soul and arouses unknown feelings. Kiyoi starts to keep him around as an errand boy, but when others order him around, he feels jealous. Nobody is allowed to treat Hira badly except him. This is a complex emotion which is difficult to understand for normal people, but is a classic trait of tsunderes. They are possessive and jealous, and although they don't show their true emotion towards their love interest and treat them badly, no one else is allowed to lift a finger at them. Kiyoi's tsundere attitude stayed Hira away from him until one day Kiyoi breaks down and begs Hira to love him and care about him. Kaneda has idolized his superior Yanase ever since he saw his work in his favorite movie. Kaneda has built up Yanase so much in his head that when Yanase is actually in front of him, Kaneda is too nervous to even look at him or properly reply to him. This shy behavior of Kaneda comes out as unfriendly and standoffish, puzzling Yanase to no end. The more Yanase comes close to Kaneda, the more his heart flutters and he gets more and more nervous to give a proper reply to him. Yanase is puzzled by Kaneda's behavior, but he doesn't know how much Kaneda loves and worships him. He keeps every single interaction between him and Yanase as a core memory and even has a mini shrine of him at his home. Why do I get a feeling that soon Yanase will go to Kaneda's house and discover everything about Kaneda's love for Yanase? I absolutely cannot wait for this series to unfold. Young Daon is a person who shines wherever he goes. He has dashingly good looks, charming smile, and comes from a rich and influential family too. Daon is not only attractive, he's also gentle and kind. However, no matter how much he smiles at people or help them out, no one has ever been able to penetrate a lonely wall that he has built up to protect himself. It's almost as if Daon is tired of only being loved and recognized for his good looks and impressive background. That's when he meets Sion, another popular guy in his class who for the first time sees him for who he really is. Daon is indifferent towards the attention he receives. His real authentic self is only reserved for Sion. Sion has unknowingly penetrated the barricade and reached out to touch Daon's heart. Daon has a strong desire to protect Sion. Sion recognizes Daon's pain and accepts him for who he is. Mark is a university freshman who has been in one-sided love with his senior Bar for the longest time. Mark gets rejected by Bar and is heartbroken about it. That's when V enters his life and they end up having a one-night stand. V excites Mark. V's boyish charms have worked their magic on Mark, but Mark is reluctant to give his heart to V because V is a taken man. He's in a relationship with his longtime girlfriend. Although the girlfriend is cheating on him too and Mark knows about it, but his heart doesn't agree with entertaining a man who is committed to someone else. So Mark shuns V and behaves rudely with him so that V leaves him be. But V has no intention of leaving Mark alone. V takes every opportunity he can get to flirt with Mark and make his heart waver. Ultimately, Mark decides to listen to his heart and let V enter into his life. So these were 15 tsundere characters from recently released BLs. Let me know in the comments which tsundere is your favorite among this list and if you have any other suggestions besides these. As always, I'm so thankful that you stopped by to watch this video today. While you are here, please consider subscribing and giving this video a like. It really helps me out. I will meet you again soon or in 3 days time with a brand new video. Love you all. Bye.